Hello, my friends. Perlo Wisdom here from Puck in Deep and R&J Media and the Ice Guys, voted best betting podcast in North America last year. And today I am going to be talking about the Vancouver Canucks and their prospect of making the playoffs. Season preview and predictions is what I've been calling it. You can check out all my content here on this channel. Make sure hit the like and subscribe, of course, if you enjoy this content. If you like going in deep and looking at like each individual thing about hockey teams, trades, all of that stuff like that, we don't just go looking at the surface here. We dig in deep and find out how they're doing. By the way, I've had people ask me where my insider information comes from with my predictions that I make that come in quite accurately. I really don't have any. I use logic. I look at in-depth perspectives. I look at what logically makes sense. I do get information from insiders about certain ways the league goes and what happens kind of in behind the scenes, but I don't get direct information as to what is going to happen. So that's where I get it from, and that's how it works. I just am very good at predicting stuff, I guess. All right, we're going to be looking at the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to look at all four forward lines, their defense, and a little bit on their depth and goaltending, and some of the things that may give them a challenge or not a challenge heading into the NHL season. All right, let's look at it now. I'm going to be looking at daily faceoff as I find the lines here are more about what the lineup's going to look like in the regular season compared to Puckpedia that's kind of putting out lines that are more like what's going on with the preseason. All right, let's start off with the top line of the Vancouver Canucks. And we have Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Brock Besser. And of course, talking about this line, we can't not talk about the issues that Vancouver had last year with Miller and Pettersson. Apparently, these issues, as I've been reading a lot of articles on it, were severe. There was, I think it was Jake DeBrusk who said that he would sit in between them in the dressing room, and you could feel the tension, like really bad. I don't know what happened here, but there was some difficult stuff going on. My theory is Miller is like an old school type guy, and he has a belief of how things should be for a team to be successful. And it's possible that Elias Pettersson maybe got a lot of money in his pocket, and he started kind of straying away from the things that he used to do. Just taken in with all of the things that I've read, and Miller was really pissed off about it, and maybe didn't do the best at communicating that to Pettersson. Pettersson sort of shut down. Pettersson this year, though, has apparently said he's coming in with a new framework. He's hit the gym hard. He's got his focus is back. And for Vancouver Canucks fans and for Vancouver in general, better hope so, because this guy was amazing at one time. Like, so amazing three-zone defensive player. He actually, by the way, still did well defensively last year. Even though his play driving slipped and obviously his point production slipped, he still has that. It's just this natural instinct for him to know where to be on the ice. He doesn't overcommit offensively. When he's on, man, this is one of the best players in the league. And if he can come back and be that again, we'll see for Vancouver. But we're certainly hoping that he does, because I loved watching him when he was at his best. I loved watching him when he was driving to the spots at the hash marks, when he was taking shots just from the outside of the circle and picking corners, and he had a fire in his eyes that he didn't have last year. And I don't know what happened, and maybe Miller was right that he needed to refocus or whatever it was that happened there. but it's got to stop now. So first and foremost, if Vancouver's looking to make the playoffs at all, Pettersson's got to get back to being Pettersson again. Everybody knows that. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't already know. Jake DeBrusk. I love this move from Vancouver when they got Jake DeBrusk. I love him as a player. He's generally more of a second line guy, but you can use him up on the top line as well. Nothing wrong with him being a top line LW. He played against high competition most of his career and done so at a very high rate. Again, another 3-zone defensive guy. If you've got DeBrusk and Elias Pettersson playing at their peak, this is two people that can shut down forwards and score at the same time. DeBrusk brings physicality, which is always nice to have, right? He's got a very good attitude, although he did have problems in Boston there at one time with Cassidy, the coach, and I don't know what happened there. But overall, he can drive to the net. He knows how to be in position all over the ice. He's very good at pretty much everything. I like him a lot. No problem with him being up on the top LW here. Then you've got a guy like Brock Besser, who is more of a complimentary forward. He's a very odd player. He's kind of like Verhaeghe in Florida, but maybe not as good as Verhaeghe as far as his overall game is concerned. But he's really good at getting into positions to be able to score. He's good at getting pucks off of rebounds. He's very good at getting speed off the right side and picking corners. And, he's a shooter. He's a scorer, no doubt about that. What he isn't good at, he's not very good defensively. He doesn't drive play. He's not an offensive play driver. He's more of a guy that feeds off his other line mates for offense and sort of relies on them for all the other aspects of the game as well, which puts him in a pretty good spot here with Pettersson and DeBrusk because they can really make up for where he lacks. He's not the smartest player in the world. His hockey IQ is not high. He's extremely high skilled, but I wouldn't call him a smart player. Quite often last year I would see him in not being in his spots in the neutral zone and defensemen going, oh shoot, now I got to readjust and move over this way because Brock's not there again. And if he's not very good at knowing when or willing to do so, go down in the corners with the defense and help them get the puck and stuff like that. He generally flies the zone a lot. His mindset is score goal, score goal, score goal, score goal, score goal. And it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to get him away from that. So being on this line, I think it makes up for a lot of what he lacks, and I don't mind it at all. If you're going to have Brock Besser, this is how to use him. Next, I'm going to go into Hoglander, who they often played on the top line here, which I really they may have to do again because now as we go down the lineup here, we're starting to see cracks. Hoglander may play here if this top line does really, really well. Right now they have Evander Kane. Hoglander's injured, by the way. He's out for about 6 weeks with an ankle sprain, it said. If it's going to be that long, it's probably a high ankle sprain. And those can be difficult to come back from. So we'll look at how that works out for him. Here right now they have Evander Kane, Philip Hedl, and Jonathan Lekkerimäki. And I don't think I can hide how much I don't like this line. This line is cross your fingers and hope they don't harm your team too much. Seriously. Evander Kane, yeah, I like Brock Besser. When he was playing at his best, he's a blue line, offensive blue line and in guy. He does mix things up. He does bring physicality. He brings some chaos to the offensive zone. But the guy is all over the place. This guy Vander Kane has never learned positioning on the ice, virtually at all. Even when he was scoring 40 goals and doing all the things that he was doing, for me, for a coach, if I was coaching a team and I had Evander Kane, I would just trade him, please trade him. And I'll tell you why. Because the average fan for the most part looks at, oh, he scored 40 goals or he scored 35 goals. But as a coach, you're trying to put systems in place here that will win in the playoffs. And if you have a guy that isn't getting his spots in the neutral zone, is overcommitting in the offensive zone, selfishly yapping at guys in the offensive zone when he should be getting back to his spots to help out the defense and all of that stuff like that, it screws up the whole team, man. It screws up the whole energy of a team and flow of the game. It really messes you up. I don't like having guys like this on here. He takes horrible selfish penalties. I can't say him enough. I don't like him. And now he's gotten to the point where his speed is taking a hit, and he's quite often behind the play a lot. So he's not even scoring like he used to. Sure, put him here. I'd have him on the fourth line, to tell you the honest truth. That's what I would have him. But if you're going to put him here, have fun with that. Philip Hedl, injury issues. And I believe a lot of it has been with head injuries. And that is not good, man. Concussion injuries, it's tough. It's actually worked against him on his ability to develop as a player. I always thought he was going to be much better than he is. But with the head injuries he's had, it's affected his development. And now he's about an average second liner at best. Again, is not a guy who drives a line too much. He's not a guy that's going to control a line or control the play. And if you're playing him with, his line driving isn't bad, but defensively he's not very good. Defensively, he's kind of like Kane. This is a line that you want to start in the offensive zone as much as you possibly can. He's a great playmaker if you put him in the right spots. He has slick hands as far as playmaking is concerned, and I guess that's why they want to put him with Kane. But if you've got these guys together that are really not good at knowing what to do in all three zones, you basically want to try to have them in the offensive zone as much as you possibly can. And that's, in hockey, that's like you can only do that so much. These guys are going to have to learn how to get back, going to have to learn how to get in their spots. And when I say get back, that means playing offense in a way that always is paying attention to where you're going to be able to get back defensively. That is, in this game, in the game now today, that is the utmost importance. There's too much parity in the league for teams to not be playing systems properly. If you're not, I don't care what kind of talent you have on your team, within reason, of course, but you're probably not going to be successful. And having these two guys on the same line, to me, is just a recipe for disaster. And then we have Jonathan Lekkerimäki on the right side. This is a terrible spot to put Jonathan Lekkerimäki. I can't see this line being like this. I can't. Lekkerimäki's young guy. He has done okay for a 20-year-old when he's been in the lineup. When I'm looking at young guys and analytics, I use JFresh Analytics. By the way, it's not everything I do. I also watch a divorce-worthy amount of hockey on top of it, but it's not bad for a guy who's 20 years old. I just don't think putting him on a line with Hedl and Kane, this is not the type of players you want to be absorbing information from. So if they're going to keep it this way, can't stand this line. We'll go down to the third line, and I'll look more at what I would do and what I think would happen for Foote, who, by the way, Foote is a new coach. He's going to have new systems, new ways of thinking, and all of those sort of things like that. And that could benefit Vancouver early, as everybody's on a clean slate now. There's no pressure. You just go out and play. But we'll see how he does down the road. I know very little about him, to tell you the honest truth. All right, let's look at the third line. Now, this is something that I can get behind. Right now, they have Kiefer Sherwood, Teddy Bluger, and Connor Garland. Now, if it's me, there's no way I'm putting Sherwood and Garland here on a third line. Um, I'm putting either both of them up on the second line, or this is my second line, to tell you the honest truth. I think this is trying to find balance throughout the lineup, but Kiefer Sherwood is really good defensively. Everybody, as most people know, he had the most hits in the league last year, and that's not always a good thing. Having the most hits can be a bad thing. You can be over-hitting and putting yourself out of position a lot. But Kiefer Sherwood doesn't. He's a natural hitter and knows how to hit and be physical and not have it affect his defensive zone play. I love this guy. There's a lot of players on this team, a lot of bones to this team that I really like. He actually isn't bad offensively either. He can perform on the second line fairly well. He played against average competition last year, but I think you could give him a little bump up. I love his attitude. I love his compete. I love everything about this guy. Now, he's not going to give you like 80 points or 70 points, but he's one of those guys you can put up and down the lineup, and he's not going to hurt you no matter what you do, no matter where you put him. He'll be able to find his way. Very smart, very intelligent player. And same as Connor Garland. I love Connor Garland. He's got great offense. He's on the small side, but he plays a lot bigger than he does. These two guys are guys that to me, are essential type players to have on a solid team. Again, 3-zone defensive play, excellent. I think Connor Garland played against high competition as well. I for sure, and I know they want to give Jonathan Lekkerimäki every chance he can to be successful, but I'm playing him up on the second line here, especially if it's going to be Hedl and Kane. They're going to need somebody like him to be able to support the poor ability of the other two to drive lines and bring defensive responsibility and all that kind of stuff like that. Teddy Blueger, not so much. He's a good fourth liner. That's about it. He's okay. He can kill penalties, not bad. You know, he brings. I know that when he was in Pittsburgh, that Crosby used to really give him a lot of credit for how much he spends in the gym and does all the off-season stuff. He really helps young players be professionals. He's a very professional person. Hard-working guy, no doubt about that. But honestly, this up the middle, when you're looking after Pettersson, Hedl, and Blueger, oh my gosh. I don't know how they let Suter go. If this is a team that really wants to do anything, I don't know how they let that P.S. Suter go, because this could be the downfall of the Vancouver Canucks. These lines up the middle here could be very difficult for them. But I love Connor Garland. I love Kiefer Sherwood. I actually love him on the same line, if you can do it. I'm leaning to bring Lekkerimäki down here, put Evander Kane here with Teddy Blueger, and what you have is not a very good third line either. So you're starting to see some depth problems here. Going on the fourth line, Drew O'Connor, actually, he could be a third line guy. I'd put Evander Kane down on the fourth line. I'm sorry, I just would. I'd put Sherwood up with Hedl and Lekkerimäki, Connor up with Blueger and Garland, something like that. Kane, fourth line. And then put him on the power play to get in front of the net and all of those sort of things like that. Give him minutes that way. But that's where I'd be doing here. But Drew O'Connor can play up on the third line. Again, there's a lot of good meat here as far as third line players are concerned. And Drew O'Connor is that. I like his compete. He's great. He's a great teammate. He's not going to give you a lot of offense, but I think he should. Playing on the fourth line, he's excellent if you have an excellent team. But on this team, he needs to be playing higher. I think they're just crossing their fingers and hoping that Evander Kane can do something here, and I think they're going to find out that he can't. It's really what's screwing up all the lines here. I would rather have Sherwood Heedle, and if you want to keep on putting Lecker there and letting him grow, then fine. At least you've got Sherwood that can help this line. And O'Connor, Bluger, and Garland, that kind of makes up for Teddy Bluger's overall game not being very good, and they can both make up for that. I would do that. Put Kane with Atu Ratu and Linus Karlsson. Linus Karlsson's a question mark for me. He had a really good job, had a really good playoffs in the AHL, and has been progressing quickly. I'm sure they're hoping the heck he can take other spots. This is not a place you probably want to be playing Karlsson, which I think when Höglander comes back, and when Höglander does come back, I don't know where you're going to put Kane in this lineup. I'd put probably Linus Karlsson's going to have to go back to the minors. I'd put Kane, who can play on the right side here. Höglander up with Heedle and Garland or something like that, and Lekkerimäki with Bluger and Sherwood. Something of that nature is what I would do. And I'd put Kane on the fourth line anywhere here. That's Atu Ratu. This is a guy, okay, when I say I look at analytics, it's not everything to me. Analytics is not everything. I'm not an analytics person that doesn't take into consideration many aspects of what is good for a player and where a player could go. I also realize there's certain things that analytics don't see that are good for a team. And sometimes it's just a gut. I think from what I've seen from Atu Ratu and his improvement last year, I could see him moving up into a third line role here and putting Bluger down up on the second line. He just he went leaps and bounds last year. This is a guy that was supposed to be a very high draft pick in his draft year, which I can't remember now off the top of my head what it was. And he sort of was aloof, and there was a lot of talk about like his maturity as far as just a human is concerned. Could use a lot of improvement, which usually means that his commitment level to what it means to be a professional wasn't very high. And from what I saw last year, I saw a player that started to grow up. And there's a lot of potential for Atu Ratu to have a really good year this year. And break out of this fourth line role and put Teddy Bluger down there. And I think that's what the desire for the team is to be. So I'm going to put him up there and put Bluger down here with, like I said, Kane and whoever they can put on the fourth line. The good thing that they have for offense is they do have a lot of players that if they do have injuries that can come in and do a pretty good job. Like Linus Karlsson is a guy who also had a good playoffs. Niels Allman can come in. He's a big guy that can play on the fourth line, has played on the fourth line. Max Sasson, I actually like his game. Not bad for a fill-in 13th forward role. They have a lot of guys that can do that type of role to come up and replace. So they do have depth, and I think you're going to see a lot of that. They're going to try out a lot of players, and there's going to be a lot of competition for roles here, which is good. It can put the focus on for teams for competition and get out of all this negative energy that was going on last year. Defense, I mean, Quinn Hughes is absolutely amazing. I, for a while there last year, got caught up in the better than Makar conversation, but he's not better than Makar. He's extremely good, but no, Makar's on another level. They actually deploy Quinn Hughes a little less against top competition that Makar does. They especially on the road, they try to use him against the weaker lines as much as possible. But I mean, he's elite, absolutely amazing. Love him. Lots of questions of whether they have to really show up here because maybe he might end up going to New Jersey to play with his brothers and all those sort of things like that. Tons of talk about that. It's possible. It's possible. God, I hope not for Vancouver because he is the bones. He is the everything for this team. When he's got the puck on his stick, man, he controls the game, and this just There is not too many defensemen in the league, or has ever played, that can do that as well as Quinn Hughes does. He can slow things down, speed things up. Everything goes through Quinn Hughes. Amazing player. And then Philip Hronek is a good complement to Quinn Hughes. I like his game. He's an average number one defenseman, plays well defensively, can bring you points, good playmaker, just like a really good complement to Quinn Hughes. So I like that top line. Nothing wrong with it at all. Or top pair, I should say. Pedersen, Marcus Pedersen, I think he's underrated, actually. I think Marcus Pedersen's an elite second pair defenseman. And he can play top LD fine. I think it was a great pickup for them. They did a really good job getting him. That was part of the Miller deal, where they gave up a first-round draft pick for Marcus Pedersen. This top 3D, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Tyler Myers, it's borderline second pair right D. The fact that he's a right D makes him more valuable. He's not bad. When you have that kind of a top three, he's not great. I mean, on a really good defense, really deep, he'd be third pair defense for sure. How many times you listen to when you listen to Vancouver broadcasts, they keep on mentioning 6'8", 229, 6'8", 229. Yeah, he's big, but he's not as physical as maybe a lot of you would like for him to be. Hasn't been his whole career for a guy who's that big, but when he does lay out a hit, it looks good. I'll tell you that. 35 years old now, always been a great skater. This top four is fine for a really solid, if you have a really solid top 12. And the only thing is I don't think they have a really solid top 12. You could even have a lesser top four than this if you did. But it makes up for it a little bit. And it's not bad. Elias Pettersson, Derek Forbort, actually, I've always liked Derek Forbort in this spot where he plays in the third pairing. He's a good defensive guy. He's basically everything you want in a third pair guy. He's okay. He's okay. Elias Pettersson, they have a lot of love for this guy. I'm not sure. In the third pair playing with Forbort, it's okay. But overall, I don't mind this defense at all. And then you got goaltending with Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen. Big question mark with Demko and staying healthy. I mean, when he's playing healthy and when he is playing at the top of his game, he's one of the top 10 number one goaltenders in the league. It's just happened so little the last few years. You can't really put a finger on what's going to happen. If history repeats itself, he's going to be injured again, and they're going to be going with Kevin Lankinen, and Kevin Lankinen is a solid backup, no doubt about that, very good, but not a guy that you want to be giving tons of minutes to. So, overall, in this division, I think it's a borderline bubble team. I really don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Any significant injuries here is going to be... Oh, I forgot about Arshdeep Bains, too. That's another guy. They got a lot of those players that are borderline, fourth line, stuff like that. They got a lot of depth like that, like Arshdeep Bains. But I think they need a lot of help, especially up the middle. I think everybody knows that. They need a second-line center. I've heard a lot of people say they get a second-line center and they're fine. I don't agree with that. They get a second-line center and fine? I guess, yeah, fine. But the problem with this team is the way it's constructed and what they have to in their system as far as defensemen are concerned, like Tom Bollender. Vancouver fans think that this guy's going to change the organization. I'm not so sure about that. He's not really an offensive guy. He's going to be a solid defenseman, probably. But, I mean, anything better than Marcus Pettersson? Probably not. Probably something in that area. He's not elite. They have some good young players coming up, but nothing that's going to blow your mind. I think this team could be in trouble. This is a bubble team at best, and a bubble team in a weak division. This is a weak division. You got Calgary, San Jose, um, like them that aren't overly strong teams. If they were in like the Central, I would have them missing this year. If they were in the Atlantic, I'd probably have them close to missing. I just don't think overall this team has good bones, but as an overall team, I think they're going to fade. I think they're going to fall. Uh, Even if Elias Pettersson does get back on track again, I think this is going to be a tough go for Vancouver. And I don't know what direction you need to go here, to tell you the honest. I don't know what direction they need to go. I think they got to trade Tyler Myers at the deadline if they're right out of it, if they can, and try to get picks, try to get young players, and just hope they hit. They're not in a good spot. Either that or in free agency next year. If they're definitely not looking at rebuilding, they've got like $20 million in cap space. They're going to lose Kane. They got to sign Sherwood. But they got to go big maybe and get a Connor or something like that. They need something to play, a player to play with Pettersson that is a game changer. I think if this team ever has a chance of being a contender. It's not a contender now, and the whole question is, how do you become a contender? And when I start stumbling over my words, trying to figure out how a team can become a contender, that's not a good thing. That's a where are we going from here thing. And I don't know where Vancouver is going from here. All right, that's my full 42, everybody. Thanks for listening in. Hope you enjoyed it. Look for my next ones, as I have about 5 teams to take care of for the season preview. And then I'm going to start giving my preseason betting predictions. Actually, you can get that at Perlo's NHL POW. I have them. Hit the community link. There's a community, not link, but a community group in my profile. You can become a member and you get like super cheap picks if you are a member when I start my picks profile. It'll be like $20 a month or something like that if you are a member. So become a member. You can get super cheap picks. We made tons of money last year. Tons. And we can have fun and do that. Have a great day, everybody. Okay, bye.